nation has faced an economic problem which has changed the opinions of the public. Opinions have swayed, but it is my job to provide and convince the public of the best plans and most logical solutions to these problems. There have been debates over the plans to bail out the big three automakers in America, and there have also been debates on the treatment of unlawful combatants. The purpose of this press conference is to address these two topics with my plans of action. To begin, I will discuss the treatment of unlawful combatants. As conflicts have grown and methods of warfare have changed, there has been a debate of the rights and wrongs of warfare. The biggest debate has been of the treatment of unlawful combatants. The term refers to people that do not abide by the rules of warfare. There are four main criteria that label people as unlawful combatants. A violation of any of these four labels you an unlawful combatant. These people fail to follow these guidelines set by international laws, so it is argued that the violators of these standards require stricter punishments. Groups such as the Taliban and Al-Qaeda have been the basis of the debate, yet they contribute a very small proportion of the people that are labeled as unlawful combatants in U.S. captivity. After the terrorist attacks of 2001, Congress and President Bush found it vital to retaliate and find means to protect the nation as a whole. They reacted in anger, fear, and uncertainty. The joint resolution that was passed, the authorization of use of military force, gave President Bush the authority to exercise a self-defense program. The program incorporated forms of interrogation and detainment that have been controversial. Under these forms of interrogation, there has been the use of excessive force and acts that have been considered torture. Accounts of the treatments have been consistent, and so showing that the controversial methods are used. International laws and rights set by the Constitution of the United States protect people from these types of treatment. Unlawful combatants are denied fair and speedy trials, which is protected by the Sixth Amendment, and they are subjected to cruel and unusual punishments, which is a violation of the Eighth Amendment. Although these people, defined by the Geneva Conventions, are subject to these treatments and methods, the people of the world and I, as head of the state, urge that these people be treated in equal protection of international laws and the U.S. Constitution. The United States was founded as a nation that would uphold the basic and fundamental rights that are given to all people. Because of this, I rule that the current treatment of unlawful combatants is wrong and should be halted. So I have decided to stop the unjust treatment of the detainees. It has been argued that Guantanamo Bay should be closed, but I feel that the base will act as a location for detaining people waiting trials for crimes and actions that has labeled them as unlawful combatants. Next, the auto industry has also seen much debate. The auto industry has revolutionized the United States and the world as a whole. The industry has its roots in America, and with such a long and rich history of business and leadership, the Big Three's request for a bailout has been through much public outrage and controversy. We have bailed out other companies that the government felt were vital to maintain a stable economy and way of life. Recently, this includes AIG. That bailout was to protect the world economy and protect jobs vital for the U.S. We're trying to do the same thing with the auto industry. The importance of the auto industry has been argued, but the Big Three's contribution to America is an important part of the economic stability of the nation. The auto industry employs over 3 million people indirectly and directly. Without a formal plan to help the auto industry recover, there will be an economic collapse. The auto industry bailout is worth less than 1/7 of the money set aside for white-collar bailouts, such as the AIG bailout. Although this bailout will cover and save more jobs, and it is argued that it is more helpful to the economy. The bailout money set aside for the big three is relatively small for the change it can affect. The reasons for the loss of money and trends that have led to the decline of revenue in business are the styles of cars, the competition, and the changing world economy. The big three have continued to produce large cars and SUVs and trucks. These cars have led to a more competitive market, which has brought down their business. Throughout time, a shift of styles has made it more efficient and smarter to buy more fuel-efficient cars. Because of these trends, Americans have bought more foreign cars. As the big three have failed to adapt to these changes, the overall percentage of the U.S. auto market share, those are cars made by American companies, has decreased. Also, in recent years, the fluctuation of oil prices has decreased the number of big three sales. The money that the big three will receive will help balance out the effects of these factors while providing incentives for change in the auto industry. In the past, there was a Chrysler bailout that was very successful. There are very different circumstances that are controlling this crisis and the big three. The different market and economy have changed the standards of automaking. Although there are plans to change the efficiency of the big three's automobiles before 2009, there had been a problem that has hindered the advancement of the automobiles and automakers. In order to protect the U.S. economy and create a more competitive market, a bailout of the big three is necessary. Through the bailout, there will be strict restrictions that are designed to promote more fuel efficiency and new technologies that lead to advances and a more profitable market for the big three. The cost of the auto bailout is low compared to the loss of revenue that has been projected by various sources. I've outlined a plan to give the funds to the General Motors Company, Chrysler Company, and the Ford Company to protect the auto industry from a failure. Any questions?